Here it is, the very first Mick and Mick podcast. Get around it, guys. Really happy to have everyone listening. Pretty exciting day for us in here after the NBA draft this morning, our time, I guess, in Australia. It's been a pretty chaotic couple of days, so I'm really excited to have co-host here, Mickey Thompson.
Hey, hi, Michael.
And obviously our resident expert in here, Kyle Standfield.
G'day, boys. How you going?
How we all recovered from the day?
Big day, exciting
been
day. Basketball Christmas, this is.
Yeah, still buzzing like Christmas, or are you on a bit of a come down at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, once you get through like the first 20-25 picks, you sort of start to come down a little bit. But yeah, no, it's been a good one.
Good one, you, Mickey?
Yeah, it's been very interesting just to see how the top 10, 20 picks played out. Obviously, the trade with Jimmy Butler, which we'll discuss in a moment, really livened the day up. Number of Wodge bombs here and there. Mark Stein as well, dropping the Butler trade. It's been a really interesting day.
Yeah, it has been a good one. I'll throw it out there if I'm sounding a little bit tired. I did go close to the all-nighter last night, just waiting for those Wodge bombs. I was bombarding these two with messages at 3, 4, 5 and 6 a.m. So apologies for that, lads. But yeah, as Kyle said, bit like Christmas, especially with the last couple of days. We had Russell get traded early, and it really looked like it was going to get chaotic, didn't it, before free agency even got to us?
Yeah, I mean that happens every year. You know, there's so many rumours being thrown around, you can barely keep up. And I mean, how many are actually consummated on the day? But I mean, we had one massive one, obviously the Jimmy Butler deal.
Yeah, we might as well get started with the Jimmy Butler deal. So the trade saw Jimmy Butler and pick 16 exchanged from Chicago to Minnesota, and Minnesota in return got Zach LaVine, Chris Dunn, and pick 7. What did you guys think of the trade?
Yeah, Minnesota sent obviously those three over to Chicago. I mean, I think everyone was a bit blown away that this went down so quickly. Jimmy Butler was obviously someone who's been talked about for a while. I just assumed he'd end up at Boston. I mean, they obviously had most of the trade assets. Thibs was always going to be a chance to chase down one of his old Chicago guys. You know, you'd have to say so to win the trade. I mean,
oh, absolutely.
Even without pick 16, I would have had the Wolves winning the trade. But to go and get a mid first round pick on top of it, finally get some veteran presence. You know, they battled last year, bit of a thin bench, and really still young. And interestingly, they played. You know, they were better last year after LaVine went down injured. So whether that was part of his defense or just getting more touches to Wiggins and Cat, yeah, great move for them.
Yeah, I think the Wolves are probably one of the biggest winners of the entire day. But I don't know what Chicago are thinking here. Like,
crazy.
Yeah, look, you could have got so much more for Jimmy than what they did. Like, you know, to give up that pick 16, like I can kind of understand it. Okay, if you get that package back just for Jimmy Butler, like I can kind of understand it a little bit. But the fact that they gave up that 16th pick as well, like to me, it's unbelievable. Like, surely they could have had something better than that. I don't know what Boston were offering, but man,
marketing. Let's go for marketing. That was with Mirotic there, and I guess the pods I've listened to the last 48 hours were just ripping into this bloke as a guy who's going to sit on the wing, jack threes, and not rebound, not be able to move his feet, slide defensively, and not even close to a poor man's Dirk. They just, I was shocked he went top 10, let alone that was who they chose to base their trade around.
I mean,
rebuild.
He's Nikola Mirotic 2.0, and I mean,
he's on their roster.
They've almost got that identical player on their roster, and that's who they're going to center this trade around with Jimmy Butler. Like,
yeah, bizarre. I think Chris Dunn's going to be the make or break for this trade for me. Yeah. I mean, yes, obviously you're hesitant about how LaVine comes back from injury, but if Chris Dunn can turn into what everyone thought he was with the 5th pick last year, then maybe Chicago can salvage this trade. Maybe, yeah.
So it's a big maybe. It's still a big maybe.
I'm high on him, but I don't understand the fit with D Wade. D Wade's opted in. He's taken his 25 mil. Fair enough, but he's a 2 and only a 2. I wouldn't want to see LaVine go back to the point. He's a 2, and if you're going to trade for Dunn, you want to give him minutes and start him at point guard. So No idea what they're thinking.
Bizarre.
Can't wait. Maybe they've got more moves ahead, but I just not sure, Mickey.
Yeah, and obviously this has been the main discussion point of the trade period so far, with the other trades being D'Angelo Russell and Mozgov to Brooklyn for Brook Lopez, and Tim Frazier to the Washington Wizards as well for...
Your boys, the Wiz.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
Gonna mention always.
Tim Frazier
Get
from
that one in
the
first
from New
for
Orleans
Dwight.
from the Wiz. Yeah, look, basically I was happy with the Frazier trade, I guess, being a Wizards man, as you've already told us, MJ. I think last season with Trey Burke, Thomas Satoransky and Brandon Jennings taking over the second point guard role after John Wall, it was a bit of a struggle there, and you could see in Game 7 that, you know, we were struggling off the bench, and that ultimately cost us in the end a spot in the Eastern Conference Finals. So the Wizards, they're trying to make a move. Tim Frazier's had his decent games at New Orleans.
This guy started last season real hot, so the first half of the season he was their starting point and was killing it, and then just dropped back out of the rotation again.
Yeah, but he's kind of a similar player to John Wall. He's not as good as John Wall. Like he is a bit of a pass first point guard. Has registered a triple double before, so I'm excited to see what he can bring.
Yeah.
And what else? What else did you think of the trade deals around the NBA, like the Russell deal and even the Dwight Howard deal?
Dwight Howard, sorry. How do you not laugh about Dwight these days? What's his team number 5? Just the whole way it went down as well, where he's come out to do his Twitter Q&A.
Yeah, we traded mid-Twitter Q&A. That's a first, even for the NBA. I think that's a first.
It's painful.
It's just a new level for NBA watch bombs, isn't it? Like, you're literally saying a player has been traded 5 minutes into an NBA Q&A with a certain player. It's amazing.
Too much. Oh, to me, it's a good move for Charlotte. Like, what have they got to lose? They're stuck in no man's land at the moment. Now they get out from underneath that nasty Plumlee contract that they took on.
Terrible deal.
So yeah, interesting that Atlanta were willing to take that one on.
I think Charlotte are just desperate to make the playoffs. I mean, they're probably just desperate to be relevant again.
Yeah.
And so if they can, Dwight, they can make the playoffs with that roster, I think. So
we drafted Malik Monk at 11, the bit of the slider from the draft, which we'll get to when we do our pick by pick rundown. But Batum, Monk, Kemba, Dwight.
Yeah, Gilchrist's still there.
Kaminsky.
Yeah.
So everyone, the jokes about them taking Markkanen after Zeller and Kaminsky and all the white guys who can shoot, just a favourite in North. But good to see they didn't end up going down that path. So Atlanta, what's going on there?
I'm not really sure what the goal is here for Atlanta. They must have just felt that Dwight, I don't know if they have health concerns over his back and how he's going to age, or if it just wasn't the right fit, or if he wasn't, happy in his role, or
Dwight Bowler. Dwight Bowler.
I'm not really sure. And like you said, Atlanta now have to take on that massive Miles Plumlee contract, which isn't a great contract at all. So
if you're rebuilding, they're doing the Chicago and blowing it up. 2 years ago, 60-win team, 4 All-Stars.
Yeah.
Millsap walks in free agency. They got none.
That's all.
None left.
That's gone.
That's a really quick disband. And it'd be interesting. What are they starting around? Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah. that's
Kent Bazemore.
Yep.
Tabo comes back. So it's going to be a rough start for another team who can struggle for relevancy at times, struggle with crowds. So they might have some more moves in free. I guess they'll have some cap space if Millsap goes and get into someone else. But finally, the Russell trade, Mick.
It's an interesting one. Brooklyn, they just need all the help they can get at the moment. D'Angelo Russell, decent young player. They take on Mozgov's contract as well, which just didn't work out at the Lakers, and in return the Lakers get a reasonable player in Brook Lopez as well. What did you think?
I'm a big fan of Brook. Doesn't necessarily fit the modern NBA in some terms, but brought the 3-ball into his game last year. I think he might be a surprise in this trade. Mozgov, they sent him home early halfway through the season last year because they didn't even want to play him, where Brook will start, add a presence, a bit of shot blocking as well, and the Lakers create the cap space they want for, Paul George, potentially maybe a LeBron run, and Yeah, Brooklyn finally get someone to build around a star. They were always going to have trouble without picks to grab a star, so this is what they had to do. It was a great move.
Yeah, I actually like this trade for both squads. Brooklyn, obviously, they've been robbed of all their draft picks because of that terrible trade with Boston a couple of years ago. So they're desperate for some young talent to build around, so they get that in D'Angelo Russell. And for the Lakers, obviously they're going to clear some cap space so they can make a run at Paul George and LeBron James in next summer. And in terms, personally, for Brook Lopez, I think it's a really good trade for him as well, because he's going to have the chance to be able to put up some numbers in LA, and he's obviously coming into a contract year, so for him, he's going to want to really perform so he can get paid in his next deal. That's whether that's with the Lakers or not, probably not at this point, but I mean,
he might become a handy piece at that trade deadline. Mid-year, he's an expiring contract. It's a decent sized salary.
Yeah.
If someone wants to take on a salary dump to create some space, send back a couple of years the other way, it might just be a handy piece for the Lakers there.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the pick-by-pick discussion for the draft today, and we'll start with pick number 1, Markelle Fultz, 6'3" out of Washington.
Boom.
What do you reckon, Kyle?
I saw this on Twitter this morning. I thought it was pretty funny. They called him the result. So we've got Embiid as, obviously his nickname is the process, and Philly fans have already dubbed Fultz as the result. And I think that's pretty cool, because this whole rebuilding process has been 3-4 years now, and as of this draft, we now kind of get a really good idea of the fruits of that process. So we've got you've got your core of Fultz, Embiid, Saric, Simmons.
Feds.
Feds. I did say that.
Brilliant.
The acronym
Feds. Love it.
Yeah, so I like that nickname. They've got a core there now, a nice young core, and I like this pick. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy's going to be a jet. Looks just an outstanding talent. Question marks about his desire and whether he's a born winner and whatnot, which I'm not sure I completely buy into. And yeah, like you said, great core. They've got big decision now is whether they spend some of their money in free agency or whether they hold off. They were a borderline playoff team when Embiid was on the court last year, so it's just health permitting for them now. They've got that nucleus to build around. They could go after a JJ Redick. They sort of could do with a bit more shooting at the 2. I don't know about putting big money into an older player. Want to let the kids grow at the moment. Probably some veteran help would be nice for Philly, but definitely another ball handler next to Simmons. Can't express how excited I am to watch Philly next year, and of course Jonah Bolden's ended up there. We'll get to him later, but another Aussie at the Sixers. Just exciting times. Then the big one, LeVar Ball. Oh no, it's not LeVar Ball. It feels like it's been all about him. I've been watching videos of him all day. No, Lonzo's gone 2 to the Lakers.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the least surprising pick of this draft, apart from Fultz at number 1.
19 years in the making.
Yeah. I think even LeVar said that in as soon as Lonzo got drafted, he said this has been 19 years in the making. It's it couldn't have worked out more perfectly for the Ball family. It's and people, obviously we see LeVar and his antics, and he's he's in the media all the time talking about himself. But I mean, Lonzo can play. I think that's the big key here. It's not just smoke that LeVar's blowing. Lonzo's legitimately a really good player, and if you haven't seen much of him, he's kind of like Jason Kidd in the way that he runs an offense, but unlike Jason Kidd, he has a jump shot, and you think about that's quite scary. And obviously the Lakers felt comfortable enough to trade D'Angelo Russell to get Lonzo in and say, here's the offense,
Free up the point,
go for it. So they obviously feel pretty high on him, and sky's the limit for this dude, I think.
Mickey, in 3 years, mate, who do you reckon is the franchise guy there? Let's say LeBron doesn't end up the Lakers. Is it Paul George? Is it Brandon Ingram? Or is it Lonzo Ball? Who do you reckon's there?
Oh, that's a good question, Mick. I still think it might end up being PG.
Yeah. This is all NBA type guy. That, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's a great trio to build around. Whether, I don't know if Randall's still there, if Clarkson's floating around off the bench, whatnot. They'll have Lopez there, but whether they make the move for PG in this trade period, I guess free agency will be the big one for the Lakers. But got a point guard to build around. It's going to be a good one for them.
All right, the Boston Celtics were obviously the big talking point of this trade period with all their resources available to them. In the end, with pick 3, they've gone with Jason Tatum from Duke. What do you reckon, Kyle?
Yeah, I like this pick. It was pretty much, the entire talk sort of been around them and liking Josh Jackson. But I think in the last 24 hours, that kind of did change towards that they were leaning towards Jason Tatum. I like it, and he's probably going to battle for some minutes, but
starter or off the bench?
I think he comes off the bench, yeah. But if I'm Jason Tatum and if I'm like his agent or whatever, I'm okay with this, despite the fact that he's probably not going to start. He's probably not going to get massive minutes because the Celtics showed last year that they can still develop young talent like Jaylen Brown. And he's going to get exposure. He's going to get playoff time. Yeah, I like this, but he's going to battle for minutes. Jay Crowder's there. That's a pretty loaded backcourt and wing position. Jay Crowder, Marcus Smart's there, Jaylen Brown. But I like him as a long-term prospect, and it's interesting because the Celtics are kind of building two teams at once at the moment because they've got, their veteran guys, Isaiah Thomas, Al Horford's there, and, obviously they've just come off the Eastern Conference Finals, but they're also kind of looking towards the future, and they've got some nice young pieces there. Terry Rozier's there, Jaylen Brown, they add Jason Tatum now.
2 more picks next year.
2 more picks coming next year, yeah, absolutely. So I like the direction that Boston are going here, and I like the Jason Tatum pick here. So
yeah, Danny said he was going to get who he wanted at number 1. So they clearly had Tatum ranked 1 on their draft board, which is a massive call. Projects as a great scorer, can score one-on-one, catch and shoot. He's got a great all-round offensive game, which is why I'm not sure you can go down the same path of bringing him off the bench, sharing him minutes with Jackson. I think they'll have to move Crowder. I think they've got to open up some playing time for these kids. If you're going to keep drafting kids, at some point you've got to start playing them. And I worry about Boston. I worry whether Ainge is willing to make a move. We saw them. They've missed out on Butler here. Are they really going to pay for a rental for George? They were linked with him throughout the day. That would have been an interesting move for a 1 year. What were they willing to give up? There's all the Porzingis talk that went around. Obviously, going on what Phil was asking, I can see why Boston didn't make the move there. But there's going to be a point in time where you can't just keep hoarding assets. You've got to go and get that other star. If you're going to chase Gordon Hayward in free agency, are you contending or not? You're going to have Isaiah Thomas, Al Horford, and Gordon Hayward on a team, and you're still not sure if they're contending or not.
Yeah, they're probably going to have to make a decision whether they're building now or they're building for the future.
Yeah, he's really. Yeah. I think he's sitting on the fence, and they're going to end up. They could end up doing neither.
Yeah,
which is
if he ends up sitting on the fence, he's going to limit his chance now, as well as limit his chance in the future. You can't sort of sit middle field. You got to pick one or the other because you're going to affect, both.
Yeah.
If you don't choose one.
Yeah, I think if they get Hayward, there's no reason they can't compete with the Cavs this coming season.
Yeah.
Definitely. And then if LeBron does go, well, they're set up, to take over from there. And maybe it is 12 months and they go hard again after another piece at the end of next year. Maybe they'll end up becoming a Blake man. I keep hearing those rumors. I don't see it next to Horford.
He's a Boston guy. I think he kind of fits the bill.
Fits the bill, yeah. Yeah, maybe. Time will tell.
All right. Pick number 4, Josh Jackson. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I love this one. This is Josh Jackson at number 4. That's terrific value.
Everyone wanted to get in there today.
Yeah,
didn't they?
there was so many people that were wanting to trade up into this top 4 to get him. The Spurs, and we know how good the Spurs are at picking player personnel.
Chicago wanted to be keen.
Chicago were keen. But this is a guy. He's plays both sides of the ball really well. I mean, people have probably unfairly, but people have almost likened him to Kawhi Leonard defensively, and I don't know if you can label a young kid like that because that's a ridiculous person to try and live up to. But yeah, he's a guy that's really talented on both sides of the ball, and he's probably going to come in and I'd say he's going to start straight away. I mean, there's only TJ Warren there at that 3 spot, so you would say that, you know, if they're really looking toward the future, you've got to start Jackson, over TJ.
Tucker got moved.
I like Phoenix. You know, they're building a nice young core there. Devin Booker, Josh Jackson. I like that.
Yeah, throw in if Brenda and Marquise Chris can start to play some minutes this year. They've got a great young nucleus forming there. I've got big worries on this guy. I love hearing today that everyone was real keen on him, but that jump shot, you know, not everyone, like you said, Kawhi Leonard, not everyone fixes their shot.
Yeah.
You look at Kid Gilchrist is still battling away as an athletic wing, great defender, but if you just don't have that jump shot, it just kills you these days. Defenders are going to sag off you, teams will sag off you, and I think that's going to be a really interesting one to watch at Phoenix, how he develops, because everyone wanted in on him, so there's big tabs there, and great for Phoenix that he fell to 4.
All right, we're going to get through to the last pick in the top 5 because we're really struggling for time here, and we've got to still get through Jonah Bolden and the free agency preview as well. De'Aaron Fox for Sacramento, out of Kentucky.
Sacramento are actually doing things that are good, which is which is surprising. They were one of the
Stauskas?
They were actually one of the winners of the day. I like this. They've got Darren Collison there, Ty Lawson. I mean, do you start him?
Fox starts.
You'd probably start
Fox
him over
starts.
both of those guys.
Wanted to go there.
Yeah, that's surprising. Sacramento actually.
It was the last sack bloke.
They
said,
actually,
I want to go there.
Yeah, that's incredible. And they actually had players, unlike last year, where some people were saying, you know, I don't even want to work out for that team. They had a lot of players in that actually wanted to work out for the Kings and show them what they got. And yeah, De'Aaron Fox actually wants to go there, which is, you know, good on him.
He ripped Lonzo Ball a new one last year in conference play in college. So a few people who looked at that and had question marks about Lonzo and thought, is Fox the better prospect? So it's a great get for Sac at 5. I think they're really well positioned. Traded out from their 10 spot to grab 15 and 20 and went and got 2 more guys there who, you know, good possibilities. Another Justin Jackson, and Harry Giles was obviously a top 3 ranked guy in the country until he did both his knees, which in footy terms wouldn't be ideal, but worth taking a punt on, you know, down at 20. So Sacramento healed and Fox, you know, they got rid of Boogie. You know, still got a couple of guys from last year's draft we're looking forward to seeing. Papagiannis, Scal, you know, was meant to be up there with Ben Simmons for the top pick early last year. He started to show a bit late in the year, so I'm not sold that 19 sack pick might be as high as everyone thinks. I reckon they might be moving in the right direction there. But we'll just fly through the back 5 of the bottom 10. Mick will just let you know who's gone where there, who they've grabbed.
All right, from number 6, we got Jonathan Isaac at Orlando. Number 7, obviously, we covered him before, Lauri Markkanen going to Chicago. Frank Tilikina at New York. Dennis Smith at Dallas Mavericks. And Zach Collins traded from the Sacramento pick to Portland today, the first center in the draft.
Any surprises that all there for you, Kyle?
I was a little bit surprised that Zach Collins went at 10. It's a bit much for me. You know, Portland gave up 2 picks to go up to 10 to take him. Yeah, they must rate him pretty well. And I mean, he's probably just going to play. The only thing that I can think of there with Zach Collins is that they've got Myers Leonard on a pretty decent contract there, and obviously they've come in and they've got Nurkic there. Potentially, it's a good money saver because they can try and offload that Myers Leonard contract, because obviously they've gone out and signed, you know, Evan Turner and Festus Ezeli, and, you know, re-signed Alan Crabb. So like they're tight on money at the moment. So I think that's probably a way that they're going to try and save money by offing Myers Leonard and bringing in Zach Collins to play that role.
Could be a move there for them. Yeah, a couple of athletic point guards there. Dallas got a nice athletic guy, Dennis Smith, 48-inch vertical, so it'll be fun for them. And obviously Frank projects as a great athlete, great defensive point guard for the Knicks, so that'll be fun to watch. But I think the big one after a few of the top 5 for us was seeing where Jonah was going to go. He sort of had an interesting route to the NBA, and we got into another Aussie team.
Yeah, this is exciting. There's quite the Aussie connection going on now in Philly, because obviously, so Jonah was selected with the 36th overall pick. Yeah, there's Brett Brown there, the head coach. We've got Ben Simmons, and now Jonah joins him as well. If you're an Aussie and you haven't got a team,
Sixers might have to be the one,
that's going to have to be your team, I think.
Might have to be the one. I was surprised he slipped. I saw a lot that he might head up into the late first round, and I sort of after last year, Maker went at 10, surprised people. It's been looking really good. I thought the NBA might be starting to clue on that Aussie guys here, good character guys. Everyone talked up Delhi. Whether Dante pans out or not yet, not certain.
He has potential as a stretch forward. That could help Joel Embiid in the long run. Do you reckon he could fit into Brett Brown's system?
Yeah, absolutely. I really like him off the bench there. He essentially plays, or he's going to play the same role as Dario Saric and Ben Simmons. So him off the bench there, I like it. He's super athletic, and like you said, he plays basketball the right way. And he's been overseas in Europe for a year.
Played well in Serbia.
He's played well in Serbia. Player of the year. He's already played against grown men. He did the college thing. He's done the international thing. He's played for the Australian national squad. All throughout his teenage years. So I thought that he should have gone in the first round. But
Hey guys, I'm sorry, I have to lock up now. Is that anyone's back in the
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll come grab those. Cheers, no worries. There you go. That's how it is in the uni life. We're getting booted out during our first podcast. So too big a day here. Couldn't even get in Terence Ferguson, the Adelaide 36er, who went at 21 to Atlanta, I believe, was it?
To Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma, that's it.
Yep.
Oklahoma, my apologies.
Just quickly on him, perfect 3-and-D guy for the modern NBA. His numbers didn't really show it in the NBL, but once again, I mean, he was a kid, 18-year-old kid that was playing against grown men.
New country.
In a completely new country, and the Australian, the NBL is, world renowned for being really, really physical. So, big expectations for him.
Hopefully it's a sign of things to come that we start to get a few of those guys coming out here. It'd be good for the NBL to see them, and now that they've seen him go as a top 20 pick, having not gone to college, or 21st as it was, I think it bodes well. Hopefully creates a bit out in the future. Appreciate you all joining in. We'll probably be back again next week, do a bit of free agency talk. I'm sure plenty of rumours will be swirling around, and good to have you, Mick. Thanks for coming in, Kyle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next time.